1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Start things off with the visiting Pittsburgh Pirates. We have O'Neal Cruz playing center field, leading things off. Andrew McCutchen, the DH, will bat second. Brian Reynolds in right field will bat third. Nick Gonzalez is the second baseman. He'll bat fourth today. Joey Bart catching for Pittsburgh. He is batting fifth. Spencer Horwitz at first base will bat sixth. Ke'Bryan Hayes, the third baseman, bats seventh today. Tommy Pham in left field will bat eighth. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the shortstop, bats ninth, rounds things out for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, for the Milwaukee Brewers, Sal Frelick leads things off. He's in right field. Jackson Chourio in center field will bat second. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat third. William Contreras is catching today, batting fourth. Bryce Terang at second base will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Caleb Durbin at third base will be batting seventh. Jake Bowers, the first baseman, will bat eighth. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He is tonight's shortstop and batting ninth for the Milwaukee Brewers. What a weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are on an absolute tear right now. They are 18-7 since May 25th. They sweep the Minnesota Twins. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now after winning the series finale, pseudo-series finale against the Chicago Cubs. And the offense, what a performance from the offense over this stretch. 4 games in a row in which we've seen the Milwaukee Brewers put up at least 8 runs in a contest. They did not do that yesterday. That means it must have been more. We'll go over it on the Rewind.
Did you miss the last game? Did you miss what was said after the last game? It's time to rewind. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Yesterday was Quinn Priester going up against, Danny Coulombe or David Festa, whoever you might want to count it. They had an opener going yesterday for the Twins. David Festa's the name you're going to want to remember for sure. The Milwaukee Brewers continuing to be dominant whenever they come up to the plate right now. The offense staying hot and gets hot in the first inning right away as well for the Crew. That's when we saw Christian Yelich lead things, or he got on with a double with 2 outs in the game. William Contreras, next batter up, would find a way to get him home to get the Crew on the board.
And he lines one down the right field line. He's got another hit. Will he test the arm of Wallner? He will. Wallner with a big arm in right. Not enough for Yelich, and it's a 2-out double. Contreras to center field and a base hit. Here comes Yelich. Here comes the throw from Buxton. Yelich is in there.
Highlights courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network. Brewers up 1-0 after the top half of the first. Then Quinn Priester greeted by Byron Buxton on the first batter of the game with a 6-pitch AB that would end up in a home run for Byron Buxton. Brooks Lee would get an RBI single to score Trevor Larnach as well. The Crew were down 2-1 after 1 inning. But just as Buxton greeted Quinn Priester with the home run to start things off, once David Festa came in the game, leadoff hitter was Rhys Hoskins to tie things up.
The Twins. There goes Hoskins deep into left field. And there it goes. It's a home run just inside the foul pole. We are tied at 2. The hitting shoes are on early again.
Crew stays hot on offense. Rhys Hoskins, the home run, ties things up 2-2. In the third inning, Christian Yelich, who has been red hot as of late as well, had a great weekend in Minnesota, continued to add to it yesterday in the third.
Yelich, a bouncing ball over the head of Lee into left field. Here comes Frelick. Chourio to third. He is in there. Yelich does it again. 3-2 Milwaukee. on Yelich's 10th RBI of this series.
What a series it was for Christian Yelich. Rhys Hoskins hits a sac fly later on in the inning, would make it 4-2. Then in the fourth inning, Caleb Durbin would score on a wild pitch. It is 5-2 now in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers. In the fourth inning, Ryan Jeffers led things off with a home run, made it 5-3. Coming up in the fifth inning now, William Contreras, a leadoff walk. Isaac Collins grounds out into a fielder's choice that gets Contreras over to second. A ground rule double from Rhys Hoskins would hold Isaac Collins at third base. Bryce Terang, his fifth long ball of the season, and showed out on this one.
And Terang skies one to right. Plenty deep, way back, goodbye! 3-run home run for Bryce Terang. A lightning bolt from Terang. Home run number 5, a 3-run jack, and it's 8-3 Milwaukee.
Caleb Durbin and Joey Ortiz pick up singles right after that. Then for the fifth hit in a row, Sal Frelick collecting an RBI.
These Brewers. A base hit to center. Frelick is going to deliver a run here in the fifth inning. Durbin scores. Sal Frelick with his second hit. He's 2 for 4. And the Brewers again pouring it on. It is 9-3 in the fifth.
Brewers were definitely hot through 5 innings. Then it was all Minnesota Twins after that. Grant Anderson came in to pitch the fifth and left with no damage. Then in the sixth, we saw Abner Uribe come in. Just wanted to get him some work. Hadn't pitched in a while, and that was what Pat Murphy was going to try to do, is get him some work in a game that ultimately they thought they had wrapped up already. Well, he would give up a home run to Byron Buxton again in this contest. 2 long balls for Byron Buxton. It's 9-4 after the sixth. In the seventh inning, DL Hall would come out to pitch, who's had a phenomenal start to his 2025 campaign in the limited amount he's been out there trying to come back from injury, and he struggled mightily. A walk to Ty France with 1 out, gives up the single to Brooks Lee. Carlos Correa, an RBI single in that inning. Ryan Jeffers would ground out to get another run to come around to score as well. It was 9-6. Then, after DL Hall is removed from the game, Nick Mears comes in, closes things out, and limits the damage for the Crew. In the eighth inning, Jared Koenig would try to come in, and he struggled again. Matt Wallner, a 1-out single as the second batter of the inning. Then Ty France homered to make it 9-8. Now everyone is worried. Trevor McGill, though, comes in for the 4-out saves, even gives up a double to Harrison Bader. They walked the winning run on base. That's how much they did not want to see Byron Buxton in this contest. And a strikeout from Trevor McGill would end up cleaning things up for the Milwaukee Brewers. They improve to 43-35 on the season. The victory for Milwaukee would go to Rob Zastryzny. David Festa, the loss. Trevor McGill picks up his 17th save on the season.
The MVP of the last game for the Crew. Who stood out the most? Let's find out. It's the Leadoff Show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan.
Couple different places you could go with giving out the MVP of the ball game. Christian Yelich had a fantastic weekend. You could absolutely have him on that list. He went 2 for 5. He's batting .259 now. A month ago, he was batting .180. He has put his batting average up nearly 80 points during the time. Bryce Terang had 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Rhys Hoskins, a homer as well, 2 RBIs in the contest. But I really think Trevor McGill has to be the MVP of the game. Trevor McGill comes in for the 4-out save, strikeout to end the game, and he spoke to the media afterwards as well. Here is Trevor McGill on the 4-out save in Minnesota.
something you only did in September last year, but what's the biggest challenge of coming in, obviously with runners on in the 8th, and then knowing you're going back out there for the 9th?
Just staying locked in and finding a way to stay loose. I had to throw some balls in between the innings just to kind of replicate what I would do going into the 9th there. Just trying to stay locked in and just knowing the next 3 batters.
The Bader had a double, and then you put Buxton on. What's your mindset in that situation? What are you looking to do?
Strikeouts, obviously. Anytime there's traffic, strikeouts play. So they're pretty aggressive to the high heater, and they missed 2 of them and got the pop-ups there. So that was nice. And then obviously the strikeout to end it. So
it's been a while since you pitched here, but did you have familiarity? Like, does that give you any sort of advantage when you're facing guys that you played with before, or has it been time has elapsed?
They know me too, right?
Yeah.
It goes both ways. So they do a good job of putting good ABs against me usually, and it's just kind of what it is. They know me, I know them, and we gotta attack. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a long day for the bullpen and really hot conditions. What did you think of just how the group overall just didn't break today?
They gutted it out all weekend, man. I don't know, 30 runs or something like that. We scored 40 runs maybe. Fantastic job by the offense there. Two-day games too. I just got done telling all the position players I don't know how they do that. 9 innings on the field like that. That's just really impressive. They stayed locked in and gutted it out.
17 saves, 19 opportunities for you. How locked in do you feel right now? How good confidence do you feel out there?
Trying to help the team win and just keep getting zeros. It's really only the only focus there. Could be the 8th like it was today, or it could be the 9th, and that role can change whenever. So just go out there and don't take any saves or any opportunities for granted.
And how about the team in general? Like 8 games over 500, season high.
Yeah.
There is Trevor McGill speaking to the media after the game. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Trevor McGill, 17 of 19 on-save opportunities this year. Right now, his ERA sitting at 2.70, 32 strikeouts on the year as well. But a number that is kind of high for Trevor McGill is the WHIP. It's the walks, hits per inning pitched right now. It's 1.31 as of right now. Last season, that WHIP was at 1.01. So he's allowing a third of a runner more, or every 3 innings, he's allowing an extra base runner during that time as well. It's very similar to the numbers 2 years ago for Trevor McGill when he was on the Milwaukee Brewers, a 1.36 WHIP. But his ERA of 2.70 is currently the lowest it has been for the Milwaukee Brewers in his time right now. Just a number to note, he always has traffic on the bases. Not necessarily a bad thing for him. Some people pitch with a little more pressure on them. They might pitch a little bit better. But for a closer, it's never really ideal to see that many runners getting on base for Trevor McGill. After the game, Pat Murphy speaking to the media as well. Here is the skipper after the 9-8 victory over the Minnesota Twins for the series sweep.
Last time, they were on how many games in a row?
13.
It ended up being 13.
Yeah. And they beat the dog on us. I think it was a 2 out of 3. It wasn't even contest. And they were rolling, and then we caught them at the wrong time. And then they caught us at the wrong time this time, but their fight they showed right there and today tells you that they got a lot to be hopeful for. Some good players over there. Wow, impressive.
Well, what did you think of how your pitching staff was able to just blow with the wind?
Yeah, that's your term. Is that your term?
Bend with the wind. What were you saying?
No, I felt like McGill. There was good performances on the mound. Priester's stuff wasn't moving the way we're concerned. His stuff wasn't moving the way it has in the past, and that's what led to an early exit. It was quite a bit different than what had been. We don't know if it was the wind, game conditions, whatever it might have been, but So early exit, and then we got some good performances right away. And then when leverage guys come in with a big margin, sometimes things are different. And that's kind of the story of that. But they held it together, and McGill was terrific. McGill was terrific.
Yeah, it hasn't been often that you needed 4-out save from him. It was last September, the last time that's happened.
Is that what it was? Yeah. Last September? I know it hadn't happened this year, but the kid's been pretty consistent. He knows who he is, and again, I'm sorry for doing this every single meeting with you guys, but William Contreras was great back there. You know what I mean? He was great.
I got it in my story yesterday.
And did you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't really read your stories.
I don't expect you to.
Ever.
I want to make sure that you do that.
Thank you.
There's Pat Murphy speaking to the media after the game. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers now 43 and 35, looking to go to a season high 9 games above 500. 8 games already is the season high. 4-game winning streak, and they scored 43 runs while batting .383 during that time. 400 with runners in scoring position. Do you remember when we were frustrated on this show just a week ago? It was when runners were in scoring position, the Brewers were not capitalizing. Well, they did that, and they looked great during that entire time. Everyone now excited to watch Milwaukee Brewers baseball when they capitalize with runners in scoring position. Christian Yelich, he's batting .395 over his last 25 games right now. 7 home runs in that time. His OPS 1.116. That's Aaron Judge stuff right there. He's on a 6-game hitting streak, and in those last 6 games, his OPS is at 1351 during that time. Jackson Chourio over his last 21 games, batting .311 with 4 homers in that time. Isaac Collins, who expected that? Isaac Collins to be a guy right now, .333 over his last 13 games. Sal Frelick over his last 30 games is batting .336. Bryce Terang back on a 7-game hitting streak, in which he's batting .379 during that time. And I heard some Joey Ortiz slander earlier on this station. And don't get me wrong, I am all for holding people accountable. But you have to not be watching if you're going to say Joey Ortiz hasn't been hot right now. And Joey Ortiz, I don't know if he's really a solution. I'm not going to say short-term, long-term. I'm going to say just broad solution at shortstop for this Milwaukee Brewers team. I could see him getting replaced. But he has been tearing it up on his 6-game hitting streak right now, in which he is 11 for 25 during that time. Doesn't have a lot of pop, doesn't do a lot of extra base hits, but he's played really good defense over that time as well. And he's got to take the small victories when you have them. 6 games right now. Joey Ortiz had a phenomenal week. And I talked about it with Drew Wagner last time on the leadoff show. He's not going to have good numbers by the end of the year. He had such bad numbers at the beginning part of the year that it's not savable. He will not have good numbers. But there is a chance to look in stretches and pieces right now for Joey Ortiz, and this piece is really good so far for Joey. Coming up on the other side, we'll get into some pregame coverage as we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates at American Family Field. 6:40 first pitch, about an hour, 20 minutes away on your televisions. And we will hear from Pat Murphy. We will hear from Brandon Woodruff as well later on in the program. Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook going to join us at 6 o'clock. Drew Wagner a little bit later today, probably 6:20 is when we will get to Drew Wagner, so it might be short, quick, and easy, but he does a phenomenal job. He sent over some sound covering the Milwaukee Brewers right now as well, too. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you. Before we get over to what Pat Murphy had to say in pregame today, let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup one more time for you guys here today. Sal Frelick leads things off. He's in right field. Jackson Chourio in center field will bat second. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat third. William Contreras is catching today, batting fourth. Bryce Terang at second base will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Caleb Durbin at third base, batting seventh today. Jake Bauers, the first baseman, will bat eighth. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He will bat ninth, play shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers. You would have thought that I insulted everyone's mother who works at this station after giving Joey Ortiz credit for 6 games. Have everyone on my neck after saying, hey, good job this week, Joey. All right? I'm just trying to be optimistic for the people right now. Charlie and Sparky, I mean, gosh, not fans of Joey Ortiz. I understand. It has not been great so far for Joey Ortiz. But saying it today is the worst time to say it about Joey Ortiz. He's had a great week, and he is a guy who is definitely unlucky. And when you look at his StatCast Baseball Savant numbers, everything's down from last year. 100%, he's not having a great season. But give the guy a chance. What are they going to do? They're going to call up Made, and he's 18? They can't do that. Pena's 18. Can't do that. Cooper Pratt still at least 2 levels away as of right now as well, too. Joey Ortiz is what we're stuck with right now, so give him some credit after a week, I guess. Before the game today, Drew Wagner down at American Family Field helping out the Fan. You can follow his work at Forbes Sports as well, too. He is going to join the leadoff show a little less than an hour, 6:20 today. Drew Wagner will hop on here. We'll talk about the weekend in Minnesota and, of course, the upcoming series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everyone's excited to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates right now if you're the Milwaukee Brewers, because the team put up a boatload of runs, over 40 runs over the last 4 games between the Minnesota Twins and the last game of the Chicago Cubs series. Pat Murphy spoke a little bit about that, plus provided some injury updates on a few names we may have mentioned on this show before, whether it is Garrett Mitchell or Brock Wilken, and even Brandon Woodruff, who we'll hear from right after Pat Murphy. Here is the manager speaking to the media earlier today.
Mound sessions, what do you, for
Nice.
Woody and Nestor?
Nice. Our 4 bench players didn't put a ball forward for about the first 8 at bats, so I was a little concerned. But no, I thought Woody was. He had a good focus. The ball was coming out pretty good. He's a work in progress, and he's going to come back from this injury, but just make sure he's mentally right. And I think he's. We're gonna powwow about it after the game and see what's next for him. He clearly demonstrated that there's no injury. And, Cortez too. Cortez threw the ball nicely. Now it's all about how he bounced back from it.
Has that been the tell for him?
Cortez
through this process?
Yeah. I mean, it's flared up, and it's important.
So will he have more of these, Nestor?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, and the longer rehab, he's got to build up.
But Woody, could his next one be a game?
I think so. It's definitely in the conversation. Or we could do this again, longer.
Yeah.
Great.
Considering he's already at 60 pitches, could it just be one more? Assuming
nothing happens.
Can you pitch in one of those inflatable sumo suits? What are the regulations?
Oh man.
Who were the players that participated?
And players that don't play very much. The Andre Cameron, Monasterio, Bowers, Haas.
They're not hitting the ball back to the mound. Maybe that's a good thing for Woody.
Yeah, well, Bauer struck out his first 2 times, so I told him that I could switch the lineup tonight if he'd like.
You guys got any update on Garrett yet?
Haven't. He's meeting today with the doctor. He had his MRI this morning.
Is there any more?
Then there'll be a second opinion.
Is there any more just on like how he feels physically, or?
He's walking around here. Feels good.
Okay.
I think it bodes well, to be honest. I don't know what the MRI will say, but it seems like it feels pretty good.
While we're running down injury row.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a Carlos Rodriguez. I don't think we've asked
Yeah.
him in the aftermath of the imaging there. What did that show?
Yeah, he's off for a second opinion, and the second opinion is forthcoming. It was Meister. Got a strain flexor, yeah.
Flexor strain.
Well, can you keep going? What about Wilkin? Is he on your sheet?
Yeah,
Is he-
yeah. The dislocated patella, right? Also waiting for a second opinion.
That one sucks. I mean, they all suck. But those keep happening. I wonder which team is going to be the first one to say, no celebrating.
Yeah, exactly.
But you keep hearing about those.
Seems to happen every year, right?
Yeah.
Mark, we talked about this on the road, but just the bottom of the order production. How, I mean, I know you say that's always impactful, right? But to see your three youngsters make the adjustments the way that they have.
Yeah, I mean, people noticed that last year about our club, that 7-8-9 was the most productive of any 7-8-9. However they judge that, I don't know. But it hadn't been the case for us this year, and now it's beginning to become the case. So it's really cool to see Durbin and Ortiz and Collins and doing the things they're doing. That's to see them become confident. Two rookies and a guy that's really in the second year, and to see him get confident, it's a great thing.
Well, Joey especially, you've been kind of challenging him to be more confident in his ability and like kind of.
Yeah, I've been thinking
can't
about.
Force that. But.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about like during all this struggle, and it was, he was about to set a record for pop-ups for a first baseman in a season, and I'm joking, but maybe.
Maybe. Did we actually try to look that up? We did.
So, to not let it affect your defense was it's amazing, and it speaks to who the kid is, because not everybody can handle that, and then to see him come back the way he is, I couldn't be happier. The whole team feels that way. The whole team's up on the rail pulling for Joey, and that says everything you want to know about the kid. I mean, the whole team is pulling for him.
This is a pretty sustained stretch where he's producing the way he did last year before the injury. Just what's kind of changed with him this last month or so? Is it just a matter of getting back to kind of working his way back from that injury?
Yeah, I don't think it's injury related. I think it's. I think every player goes through it. You go through those tough stretches, and you have to. If anybody knows how to get through it, it's Yelly. He's been through it before, and yeah. There's a belief system there. There's a hunger there that, man, it's contagious.
Mark, you guys as an offense, like in the first month of the year, tons of ground balls, like ground ball rate over 50%. That's gone down significantly since then. The offensive production has gone up as well. I'm wondering if you think those two are.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be that.
Guys that you don't want.
It's never going to be the reverse. It's never going to be your offense is doing really good, we're hitting more ground balls. And that whole concept of fly ball versus ground ball. Look, we want to hit the ball very, very hard. You know what I mean? And you want to hit them where they're not. Figure all that out. And it says, hitting balls in the front zone, out in front of the plate, 7 to 9 inches, whatever it is that's where the damage happens. So if you want more damage there, but we've still hit plenty of ground balls that get through. In Minnesota, there was 4 in particular that got through because of the positioning. So the third baseman's in because we tried to bunt. Joey, try to bunt, 0-2, ground ball right past the third baseman, who's still drawn in. It's an effect of a lot of things. That's how offense is created. It's little things together. Now, does that mean every time the infield plays in, that's good offense to hit a ground ball? No. You don't want to hit a ground ball. I want to hit a line drive in the gap. But because we play the way we do, we open up more opportunities. But because we don't hit home runs, we never blow games out. We don't enough blow teams out. So.
You mentioned like the contact point, catching out in front. For a guy like Bryce, is that something he could do more of?
Okay, so it's a slippery slope. I've had this discussion 75 times in the last 2 weeks. A slippery slope. So if you tell a guy as a hitter, hey, we want you to hit it out here, we want to hit it in front, so I want you to change your contact point. You're setting him up for a ton of failure. Because just to get out there and do it, now how are you going to react off speed? So you have this timing mechanism, and then you get your swing off, right? So to do all that, it has to happen all at once. So if you're trying to force one of it, it's like trying to force a dance step if you don't have rhythm. I imagine you're a guy with rhythm, but let's say a guy like Adam, okay, who certainly doesn't have rhythm. Okay, so like you can't just force Adam to, tango.
Luau.
I can tango.
And I figured that. But again, it's not as easy as saying, hey, hit it out front. Air pull. That's the death of a lot of minor league players. Hey, buddy, you got to pull the ball in the air a lot.
It's just interesting because you see Bryson, he now can do it when he gets there. Like his batting practice is a lot different than
So this is a discussion I would love to have with you, because I love explaining this. He can do it in batting practice, but how come he can't translate it in the game? Timing. Because the mechanism he uses to get down and get his swing off doesn't allow him to get there on 94.
Sure.
So how do we get him there on 94? Bryce, just get your foot down earlier. That's not it. Hey, learn to tango. Get your foot down earlier. That's not. There's more to it.
Kind of has to happen naturally.
No.
Or in off season.
No. Well,
if it doesn't have to happen, I guess. But if it's going to.
If it's going to happen, you have to understand it, be aware of it, and how to change it. How to get a different step in there. How to do that dance. It is very rhythmic and it's very timing based. He's totally aware of it. 100% aware of it.
There is Pat Murphy speaking to the media before the game today, rather, and a lot of interesting stuff you heard on Pat Murphy trying to explain that it's not as simple as, well, he's done it before, why can he not continue to do it with Bryce Terang and his swing? It's quite simple for the Milwaukee Brewers. They hit a lot of home runs in a ball game. They tend to win the ball game a lot more. If they don't hit home runs, well, they've figured it out the last 3 of the last 4 games. Bryce Terang is not asked to hit a lot of home runs. If he hits more of them, great. It's all gravy from there. Who is not hitting a lot of home runs that they need to hit a lot more home runs? William Contreras. And while we named a lot of guys who are hot during this time right now, William Contreras has absolutely played a lot better baseball in his day, but he continues to be amazing behind the plate. Look at the great pitching performances. Pat Murphy giving credit again after the ball game yesterday for William Contreras catching, and he's available just about every day. Got to be worth something as well, too. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we'll hear from Brandon Woodruff, and then we will build a winner. Go take a look around the minor leagues, presented by Ironworkers Local 8. It is the leadoff show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to the Leadoff Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you. Milwaukee Brewers back in action today, 6:40. First pitch from American Family Field. They will take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Before we get down to this injury report and hear from Brewers pitcher Brandon Woodruff, let me run down Milwaukee's lineup again for you just coming out of the break here. Sal Frelick leads things off. He's in right field. Jackson Chourio in center field will bat second. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat third. William Contreras is catching, batting fourth today. Bryce Terang is at second base, batting fifth. Isaac Collins in left field will bat sixth. Caleb Durbin at third base, batting seventh today. Jake Bauers at first base will bat eighth. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He is the shortstop and batting ninth. Off day for Rhys Hoskins today with Jake Bauers playing first base, going up against the right-hander. Braxton Ashcraft going to make the open, I guess. That's a lot more common in Major League Baseball than you think. Brewers taking on another opener as they just did yesterday when Danny Coulombe came in for the Minnesota Twins. Injury report as of right now before we hear from Brandon Woodruff. Garrett Mitchell getting a second opinion on his shoulder after sliding back into first base in a rehab game at AAA Nashville. That was what we found out 2 days ago. Blake Perkins, last we heard a week ago, still getting back and working through his rehab assignment in the Arizona Complex League. Nestor Cortez also throwing bullpen sessions as of right now, and so is Robert Gasser. So still waiting to hear when we might get those two back for the crew. Brandon Woodruff speaking to the media earlier today. He gives you an insight on what he's going through with his rehab assignment and maybe some positivity on how soon he could be back for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Simulated game. Simulated game. We had four guys: Bowers, Daz, Haas, and Monasterio. So, yeah.
When was that?
At 12 o'clock.
Today.
You probably were just not getting out of bed. I was ready to go.
I have a 3-year-old.
Okay, never mind. You're good.
I was still in bed.
Yeah.
With that.
5:45.
Okay, never mind. That sounds terrible. I was sleeping. No, it was at noon today. So, Nestor I threw the first inning, he threw the bottom, and then basically I would take 4 to 5 minutes in between each, and I got up 4 times. So, got to 60 pitches and felt good. Everything felt great. Stuff was doing what I wanted to do finally, and body is finally starting to move like I want it to. So.
Does that replace a rehab effectively?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm sure they're having discussions today, but I'll give it to tomorrow and then see where we're at. And but I'd like to just go throw one more and because we've seen when it's happened the last 2 times.
Not get on a plane.
I can tell you I don't care what happens as long as I can get the pitches in. So, but today was a good day for me. My body's starting to move without having to think about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. I've been trying to do stuff and have feel certain stuff, and now it's just kind of I've used these 2 weeks here and I've really cleaned a lot of stuff up. So hopefully that's keep it going.
That gets to what you had said. Try to make something positive out of something bad.
It's been the hardest. It's been the hardest thing. If you look at it, if you don't stay positive with it, it makes coming to the field miserable, to be honest. And when the team's on the road and I'm here, me and Nestor's here by ourselves, it's a pretty lonely place. But I've used it. We've cleaned a lot of stuff up in the weight room for the mechanics, and It's been good. It started to show up today, which was nice, and that's been the hardest thing is like when you don't throw for so long. Even though I've been pitching this year and I've had a couple shutdown periods just by unluckiness, but it takes time. You don't know when it's going to click, and like each and every time you learn something from that experience, and then you put it to use when you're down, and so it's just it's been a puzzle, but it's finally starting to come together. So.
How have you been able to stay? You talk about how difficult it is to stay positive.
Yeah.
Has anybody helped you through
I
that?
got a family at home. I got 2 kids, and that's been the biggest help for me. So getting up, and I was thinking about it last night, getting to feed my little boy, a bottle at night before he goes to bed. Don't get that when the team's on the road. Like all these experiences and getting to see him, he's about to start walking, like getting to see that day to day is family's been the biggest thing for sure. That's filled the time up until the games start, and then I'm watching the games. But having 2 kids has definitely kept me busy.
How old are your kids now?
My little girl will be 5 in August, and my little boy will be 1 in July. So yeah, busy time.
Woody, have you talked a little bit with them about what comes next? Like, do you think they'll let you just jump back into pitching?
God, I hope so. In terms of, you mean just like jumping right back into the rotation?
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or I'm just going to keep spinning my wheels here. So, I have to go. For me, I feel good. The way I felt out there, the way I was commanding the baseball today, felt normal. In a great way. Like, it felt normal. I know it wasn't in a real game, but I was probably some of the crispest my stuff has been, and location-wise it has been up until this point. So I've always been a guy, like, even in the past, like, when I'm ready, like, and I kind of know that. So I'm not saying that's going to lead to results, but I know that I'm ready to go pitch and compete. So I think I'm to that point now, and my hope is just get out for one more, and hopefully can get to that, push the pitch count again, and be ready to go. I mean, I'm doing everything on my end to be ready, and I've worked my butt off, and and then you just see what happens. But so that's all I can. I mean, I just got done throwing today, so I'm sure they're having conversations, and we'll go from there. I'll probably know a lot more in the coming days. But you're good. That's fine.
But you don't think necessarily you need to go back to another rehab or anything like that?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to go make a start.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go make a start for sure. I just don't know where that's going to be. Okay. And but I'm assuming you were talking beyond that, like multiple.
No. I was asking whether you might.
Oh, I misinterpreted. No. I'm going to make a start for sure.
Down.
I need to get to like 80 pitches. No, I'm not going to do that again. Okay. Like today was more about just like having this first one be controlled.
Yeah.
In a good environment.
Yeah.
I think based off what happened last time, I think we're trying to minimize that. Now, not to say that couldn't happen out there, but it's. But I misinterpreted your question. But
I misinterpreted what you said earlier.
So it was.
I was on the same boat.
Okay, sorry if I confused anybody, but I mean, like today was to get the pitch count up to 60, which I did, and get 4 ups, and then the next one I hope get to the 80 pitch mark. So and hopefully get through 5 or 6.
So one more.
So hopefully, what I meant by that, one more is in like
go pitch
pitch somewhere and then be ready to go.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
No, I'm not. They ain't gonna plug me in there right now.
5 days.
Well, I mean, based on what's happening,
I'm not.
Go out there in a Kevlar vest.
Did they take it out? So Phil Roswich got me that. It's like a biker suit, and he made me put it on. It has like all the shields and stuff on the arm. So he's like, next time you go rehab, wear that when you pitch. So, good little time, but hopefully my luck has turned in terms of that stuff. So.
Hey, one on a separate topic. That's just a baseball thing. What do you think about Wednesday? Skeens and Mizorowski?
I think that's what isn't it funny how like the baseball world works out, and now it's like it's already getting hyped 2 days ago. Like, I mean, you got 2 guys who are obviously young and throw the ball extremely hard, and they're good pitchers. So Skeens has been doing it. Just a touch longer, but obviously what we've seen from Miz the first 2 times out, like special stuff. And I mean, it's good luck to the hitters. You know what I mean? Like I mean, it's 100 miles an hour every pitch, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of crazy how, in terms of how the game has changed in that way. It just seems like everybody throws 100 now, but it's cool. It's great for the game. It's two young guys that are obviously really good, and it's going to be fun. You know, first time them facing off, it'll be fun. So I'm definitely going to be in the dugout watching and see what happens. So
have you enjoyed him?
I haven't got to see him pitch in person besides here, but just taking everything in stride, and I mean, you throw 100, man, and it's like you can wake up and go do that. Oh my God, like that's special, and it makes pitching fun. Like you can just overpower dudes, and I mean we've seen what he's done the first 2 times. So it's been fun. I think next steps for him is just getting comfortable here, and then learning like what the league wants to do, and then making adjustments, and then just having a good routine in between. I think we'll see some pretty cool stuff. So
did you see him much in Phoenix during spring training, or
not too much? I was kind of still early stages of like I was involved in all this stuff, but I really wasn't around to see everybody do their thing. So I never got to watch him pitch in person. And in spring I saw a couple of bullpens. I mean, when you're throwing 96 in a bullpen, I'm like, Jesus, like give me some of that. So but I mean, yeah, obviously extremely talented. So
there is Brandon Woodruff speaking to the media before today's game. It is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A lot of positive, it sounded like there with Brandon Woodruff. I'm not really sure how he fits into this Brewers rotation and who will get the short end of the stick, but it sounds like it's going to be someone from the rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers, because Brandon Woodruff plans to come back after one rehab assignment, get up to 80 pitches, and then be implemented back into this starting rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers.
The key to building a winner in baseball is a strong minor league system. Who are the names we should know? How did they play in their last game? Ironworkers Local 8 brings you Building a Winner. Building Milwaukee's future, one beam at a time. Apply now at iwl8.org.
Yes, time for another Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8. Building Milwaukee's future, one beam at a time. Thanks again to Ironworkers Local 8 for being a part of the leadoff show. Let's get right to the action, starting off with AAA.
Nashville Sounds.
Nashville winning yesterday 1-0 over the Iowa Cubs in game number 6 of the series. No minor league baseball today, as Monday is the off day for minor league baseball. Tobias Myers, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, no runs yesterday. Jefferson Cuero picking up a hit in the contest, as well as Bobby Dahlbeck. Anthony Siegler, the only man to drive in a run. Nashville Sounds 44-29 so far on the season, helping contribute to the Milwaukee Brewers' top farm system right now, according to the National League standings and what they are doing. Be back in action tomorrow at 6:35.
Biloxi Shuckers.
Biloxi Shuckers, they pick up a win over the Knoxville Smokies. That is the AA affiliate for the Chicago Cubs. In that game, Garrett Spain, multiple extra base hits, 2 doubles for the first time this season. Biloxi wins 3-2 this past Sunday. It is a 2-for-3 performance. He opened up the scoring with an RBI single in the second inning as well. He reached He's reached safely now in his last 6 games, going all the way back to the series against Chattanooga. Cooper Pratt also had a double in the game. Brewers' number 3 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline as of right now.
Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
Timber Rattlers back in action. They fell yesterday to the West Michigan Whitecaps. They are still 0-3 currently right now in their quest for a second half championship. They are now 34-34 on the season overall in the game. Low A, much more positives to talk about.
Carolina Mudcats.
Eric Batanti right now is on an absolute tear for the Carolina Mudcats. They're 3-0, 3-game winning streak to start the second half of the low A season. Ethan Dorches as well had 6 strikeouts over 3 innings, just 2 base runners in the 6-5 victory over Columbia. Batanti 2 for 4, a home run, a double, 2 RBIs. He just moved in to the Brewers' top 10 prospects, and he is number 10. I assume he will be quickly rising as well because he is tearing it up as of late for the Milwaukee Brewers and the Carolina Mudcats.
Arizona Complex League Brewers.
Complex League will be in action today. Off day yesterday as well in the Dominican Summer League. Everyone back in action today as we see the Summer League taking on the Dominican Summer League blue team will be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers, as well as the gold team will take on the Orioles today. Arizona Complex League has lost 8 straight games. They were 18-10, now 18-18. Definitely looking to bounce back as well. This Building a Winner feature presented by Ironworkers Local 8, building Milwaukee's future one beam at a time. Coming up, we're going to talk to Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Yesterday, again, parlay hit again. It's plus money every time on the parlay. Austin Herdina doing some of the best betting advice you can get on any airwaves here in Milwaukee. If you're trying to bet on the Milwaukee Brewers, if you want to get any action on today's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as hear all the great things happening over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook each and every day. We'll be right back with Austin Herdina. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to the leadoff show, other side of the 6 o'clock hour now. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Before we get over to Austin Herdina at Potawatomi, let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup again for you guys here. Sal Frelick, right fielder, will lead things off today for the Crew. Jackson Churio in center field will bat second. Christian Yelich is the DH, bats third. William Contreras is catching, batting fourth today. Bryce Terang at second base will bat fifth. Isaac Collins in left field bats sixth. Caleb Durbin at third base will bat seventh today. Jake Bowers is at first base and batting eighth. Joey Ortiz, the shortstop, rounds things out, bats ninth for the Milwaukee Brewers. Joining the show now, as he does each and every day. Now we have to be worried about copyright, and I know the WWE is going to be worried about everything because we're on stream here, but imagine Shane O'Mac's theme song playing. Here comes the money. Austin Herdina joining us from the Potawatomi Sportsbook after another hit yesterday. Austin, how we feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. I'm riding the hot streak the Brewers are on.
Yeah, absolutely. And first, before we get into Milwaukee Brewers baseball, let's just talk about Game 7 for half a second yesterday. We've been talking a little bit about the NBA Finals as we pop on each and every day with each other. Heartbreaking a little bit for sure for Pacers fans. I understand. I sympathize with injury ruining a playoff hope. It just couldn't have happened at a worse time, Austin.
Oh, it really is heartbreaking. And it puts next year into jeopardy, too, with Halliburton. They wonder if he's going to miss next year, all of next year, part of next year. The Pacers, though, they really showed out. I mean, they still were winning at halftime, even without Halliburton. Just great performance from the Pacers all season long, all playoffs long. You got to give it up to them. But the Thunder came through. They are our new champions.
Indeed they are, and +7 yesterday was in the parlay, or rather -7, taking the Thunder in the points. Austin Herdina all over that. It was scary at halftime for a second when it was no Halliburton and the Pacers still keeping it close, but ultimately OKC just a little bit too much for the Indiana Pacers. It is the leadoff show. Austin Herdina joining myself, Tommy Wortz, here each and every day, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Looking ahead at the betting odds today, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Austin. Milwaukee in uncharted waters, it feels like right now. Super heavy favorites at -175. Maybe not super heavy, but heavy favorites for Milwaukee Brewers betting standards. The run line at 1.5, and the over-under is set at 8.5 today. Austin, what's jumping off the page from your most popular bets over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook if people want to get some action on today's Brewers-Pirates game?
I'm riding this Brewers hot streak. The Brewers have been batting around the order so often. They've been getting so many runs. Give me the Brewers. Brewers to win the game and the over 8.5. I think we're going to see some long balls today.
All right. I'd be down with that, too. I'd be totally down with that. The offense, I think everyone's waiting for it to come crashing back down because the over-hitting on 4 straight games, really with no worry in the betting world scene right now, has been extremely hot in Milwaukee Brewers baseball games, and that is attributed to the Milwaukee Brewers offense being extremely hot, too. It's +170 with the money line and the over of 8.5. You got anything else you're keeping your eye on to add to this parlay today, Austin?
Yelich has had an RBI in 4 straight games. He is hot right now. I could see him coming through with, at least a hit, maybe an RBI as well. He's playing his best ball right now.
Yeah, it's favorite right now for over of a half an RBI for Christian Yelich. If you throw that into the parlay, it's +260 courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That is Brewers money line, the over of 8.5, and Christian Yelich to record. That's a run scored. My apologies. If you go and throw it in for an RBI, it's actually +138 on those odds alone. It goes up to +370 for Christian Yelich to record an RBI with the over of 8.5 and the Brewers money line right now. Austin, are you getting excited for Wednesday in this series too? It'll be Jacob Mizorowski going up against Paul Skeens, maybe two of the youngest, most talented pitchers in baseball right now.
Wow, that is quite a matchup. Yeah, looking at betting odds, Mizorowski. He's actually our favorite now for NL Rookie of the Year.
You know, Austin, I texted Mitch Thundernellis, and God bless him. I love the man. I told him last week after his first start that Mizorowski was plus 1,500 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to be Rookie of the Year. I think it was like 5th or 6th best odds, and they skyrocketed over the week, Austin.
Yeah, I don't know what they're at right now. I haven't taken a look. I know I looked at it at the weekend. They were plus 250. I'm not sure where we're sitting at it with right now.
Yeah, I think as of right now, so if I go to the futures here and look at NL Rookie of the Year, he is at plus 175 now, the leading odds over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it just keeps coming down. It's something that we've seen a lot of people come in and bet on. I think there's a lot of support around him, especially after his first 2 starts, and the Brewers' offense getting things going too. That's only going to help his campaign if it keeps resulting in wins for him.
Absolutely, it is. Austin Herdina joining the leadoff show as he does each and every day over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You should try to get your tickets to that one because it sounds like it's going to be sold out. Be a nice day baseball game. If you want to see Mizorowski go up against Paul Skeens on Wednesday, super excited for that matchup. Brewers today back in action against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Austin, what's going on over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook now? We saw a couple of finals wrap up over the last week between hockey and basketball yesterday. What's going on that the people should know about so they can come visit your beautiful sportsbook you guys got at Potawatomi?
Yeah, I mean, we still have, baseball pretty much every day right now. This weekend, Saturday night, UFC pay-per-view. We get all the UFC pay-per-views, so always come in for your UFC watching. What else we got? Coming up in this early August, SummerSlam. We'll have both nights, August 2nd and 3rd. Those are set up for reservations right now, as well as the UFC pay-per-view, so you can head to Potawatomi.com, go to Sportsbook and reservations, and get your table.
Yeah, that's going to be a great time. I'm excited for that. I think that we should try to set something up with Mitch Thundernellis as an MC for that SummerSlam event in August because I think he would love that. He would just have such a great time with it, watching the pay-per-view with the fans there at Potawatomi. Austin, thank you so much for jumping on today. Have a great rest of your day, my friend, and of course, go Brewers.
Go Brewers.
There he is, Austin Herdina over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, joining the leadoff show. His parlay for the people. By the way, I'm telling you guys, he hits like all the time. Every week it feels like he's hitting on this show, and he has another one for the people today. It is the Brewers money line with the over of 8.5 and Christian Yelich to record an RBI. He is plus 370 right now over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Gamble responsibly, for sure. But Austin Herdina, he gives you a lot of confidence. Maybe false, but he does a great job on this show indeed.
Nobody likes them.
Craig Counsell returning to American Family Field.
We all want to see them lose.
It's not my job to tell people how to feel about something or even to figure it out. Let people feel how they want to feel, and I'm good with that, and I think it doesn't have to be all positive.
It's time to eye up the enemy for today's game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Eye on the enemy here for the leadoff show, and we don't have a lot of data. In fact, zero data on either pitchers facing anyone in the lineup. It'll be the first time that either of these starters, that is Braxton Ashcraft and Chad Patrick, faces anyone against either one of these teams. But the Milwaukee Brewers, if it feels like they've had a pretty good track record against the Pittsburgh Pirates, they have. Since 2019, they are 31-13 against Pittsburgh at home since that time, and Chad Patrick is coming off some of his worst outings so far of the season. The last 2 times out, he gave up 6 hits, 4 runs last time against Chicago, and then the time before that, it was Atlanta, in which he gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. It was really 2 of his worst performances all season so far for Chad Patrick. Looking at the opposing stats for the Pittsburgh Pirates, however, Andrew McCutchen, you remember him, of course, Brewers legend, and has been on the Pittsburgh Pirates for quite a long time. He is actually the qualified team leader in batting average right now for the Pittsburgh Pirates at 264. The Pirates offense has been terrible this season so far for Pittsburgh. Right now, when you look at their stats, the team stats, that is, for the offensive rankings, the Pittsburgh Pirates near the bottom in a lot of them right now. And you look at batting average as a team, the Pittsburgh Pirates third worst at 227. Woof, that is bad. And OPS is the lowest in the National League, 639, only ahead of the Chicago White Sox at 636. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers, they're not great either. 698 so far, team OPS. That is the 11th worst in baseball. But the pitching side of things has really been carrying for Milwaukee. Right now, the 3.85 team ERA is very similar to Pittsburgh's team ERA of 3.81 right now. And the Milwaukee Brewers looking to make sure they can capitalize on the weak opponent in the Pittsburgh Pirates. The offense has just been not great. They scored 8 runs yesterday and was asked today if you think they'll score 8 runs in the entire series. If everything goes well for Milwaukee, that should not be the case at all. Chad Patrick is making his 16th start of the season. He last pitched on Tuesday, as we said, against Chicago. The team is 6-9 in his starts so far this season. He has 5 quality starts, and opponents are batting .250 against him on the season. That might be something to be worried about just because of the last 2 outings. There's a little more tape now on Chad Patrick. When you get 14 starts in the big leagues, people tend to pick up on your tendencies. Right now, Chad Patrick, no secret, he's throwing a lot of the fastball, and specifically the cutter. The cutter is 44% right now, the fastball 24%, the sinker 20%. So everything really coming in at the same speed as of right now for Chad Patrick. The changeup is at 6%, the slider at 5%. So almost 90% of the time, it is some sort of fastball, whether it's cutting, four seam, or sinking, coming out of Chad Patrick's hand. Maybe he doesn't have the confidence in the other 2 off-speed pitches. In an outing like this against the Pittsburgh Pirates, in which the offense has been not great all season, I would like to see Chad Patrick try to mix things up a little bit more with the off-speed to try to throw them off. But that's what, the last few times out, 9 earned runs. He has given up 31 earned runs all year, so nearly a third of his runs have come in the last 2 outings. Chad Patrick's got to find a way to bounce back. Indeed, this is the best game to do it against the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball. Coming up, we're going to talk to Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports. He's going to join the show as he does each and every day. We'll talk a little bit about yesterday and the weekend performance against the Minnesota Twins, as the Brewers riding a pretty hot streak as of right now and are climbing in the National League Central at that 3.5 games back now of Chicago. The Cubs 46-31. The Milwaukee Brewers in sole second place right now in the National League Central, 43-35. St. Louis right behind him, though, just a game back at 42-36. And the Cincinnati Reds at 40-38, 3 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers, who they just released Jeimer Candelario. They DFA'd him at least. I would assume he will pick up a contract. He's a third baseman. I don't anticipate the Milwaukee Brewers being involved at all in those conversations. I think they're pretty happy with what they got with Happy, if you know that, Caleb Durbin's nickname for Pat Murphy. Caleb Durbin's nickname from Pat Murphy, who, again, picked up a nice day yesterday, had 3 hits in the contest. I don't think Jeimer Candelario is going to be in play for the Milwaukee Brewers, but another guy who is going to be out of the division after being DFA'd by the Cincinnati Reds. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we'll be joined by Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports. It's the leadoff show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to the leadoff show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with you. Going to be joined by Drew Wagner in just a second. But first, let me run down the Milwaukee Brewers lineup one last time out of this break here. Sal Frelick leads things off. He'll be in right field. Jackson Chourio in center field will bat second. Christian Yelich, the DH, will bat third. William Contreras is catching today. He'll bat fourth. Bryce Terang will bat fifth and play second base. Isaac Collins will bat sixth and play left field. Caleb Durbin at third base bats seventh today. Jake Bauers back in the lineup is at first base for the Rhys Hoskins off day, and batting eighth. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He is the shortstop and batting ninth for the Milwaukee Brewers. Joining the show now, as he does each and every day, you can follow his work at Forbes Sports. Follow him on Twitter at @ByAndrewWagner. It is Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show. Drew, how are we doing? Good evening, my friend.
We're still warm.
Still warm.
We're very warm.
Drew, Sparky reads off the weather now. He's got a nice deal for it. And again, now I am frustrated with feels like in the summer. Feels like I thought was only a winter thing.
Yep. This is when my dad used to call me or message me and say, "Don't forget to put sandpaper on the toilet seat, son. Otherwise, you'll slide right off it."
Oh, gosh. It sounds like he had a lot of funny things to say, and that's a good one indeed that I will steal, but it hurt already just hearing that back from you. Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show as he does each and every day. Drew, the weekend in Minnesota, other than maybe the bullpen performance in the back half of yesterday, could that have gone any more perfect for the Milwaukee Brewers?
No, that was about as good of a weekend as the Milwaukee Brewers have had in a long time. We've said that a lot lately. They've been playing really good baseball the last couple of weeks, and not just in terms of wins and losses, which they're about the best in the league during that stretch. But they're clicking on all cylinders. They are playing the way this offense was designed to play. They are getting the pitching that you expected coming in, even if it's not from the guys you expected coming in. Like, every aspect of the game right now is clicking for the Brewers, and it couldn't come as a better time as they head into what could turn out to be a very pivotal stretch of the season.
Drew Wagner joining the leadoff show. Drew, what really stood out to me is they're capitalizing with runners in scoring position over this 4-game winning streak right now. 20 for 50? Is that a typo, Drew? With runners in scoring position over a 4-game stretch? That does not seem like that hasn't been Brewers baseball. And really now this team seems like they are unlocking and realizing their full potential, because the pitching has been there all year, but when the offense is performing like this, I mean, there is no limit on what this team could do and how competitive they could be.
Yeah, and it really is a very simplistic approach, and it's just get on base. Don't try to do too much. I think when a team is slumping offensively, as the Brewers had for a while, there's a tendency to kind of feel like you have to be the one to swing this team out of it every time you go up to the plate. And you can't do that. You can't hit a 3-run home run unless you got guys on base. You have to have those pressure innings. You have to have the chaos. You have to have guys that are working pitchers, working at bats, waiting for their pitch, looking for mistakes. Again, I call it the very micro approach. You have to have a very micro approach, and you have to compete from pitch to pitch during each individual at bat, and just try to do your job. And that's to get on base by whatever means necessary, and be confident that the next guy is going to move you over and move you over and move you over till you score.
Drew Wagner, follow him on Twitter at @ByAndrewWagner, joins the leadoff show. Drew, what has been a more pleasant surprise, I guess, in your opinion, over this stretch of games? Is it the top half of the lineup or the bottom half of the lineup for the Brewers right now? Because everyone knows Christian Yelich is back on a heater and might be playing up to his true form. But, I mean, Joey Ortiz on a 6-game hitting streak. Bryce Terang, a 7-game hitting streak. Isaac Collins is batting .333 over the last 13 games. I don't want to take away from what Chourio and Hoskins and Yelich are doing at the top part of the order, but really since the bottom part of the order started picking up some slack, that's when this Brewers team has become dangerous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When the bottom guys are going, you're extending innings, you're flipping the order, and you're giving your big guns another shot to cash in, like we said, with runners in scoring position. It's just how this beast gets fed. When those 7, 8, 9 guys are clicking, it's really hard to stop an offense, especially when the top of your order is doing its job. It's just all around good baseball right now. They're playing very good baseball.
Drew Wagner, I got another question for you, and we're going to talk about today's game, and I'm going back to Chad Patrick, who has struggled his last 2 times out. He's got 9 earned runs over those last 2 appearances. He now gets for lack of a better word, a get-right game, maybe, in a way, where you're going up against a Pittsburgh Pirates offense, which is atrocious. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, in the National League. And Chad Patrick needs an opportunity to bounce back. I wondered if you have asked about this at all to him, but he relies very heavily on the fastball, cutter, and the sinker, right? He doesn't really throw a lot of off speed at you. Do you think that it's something that you could see out of either Chad Patrick, or have you ever seen out of a pitcher when you know you have an offense that struggles on the other side, to try to mix in a little more off speed and try new things out, because what you've done the last 2 times around hasn't really worked out for you?
Yeah, and I think he knows that. I think that's part of the game plan, and also it's part of his development. You know, a lot of times those off-speed pitches are the hardest ones to develop, and then they take the longest time to develop. You know, very rarely do you see guys who come up riding their off-speed stuff. You know, Devin Williams, obviously an exception. He has that stellar changeup. But those are usually the hardest ones to hone in, because they're such a touch and finesse and feel pitch that it takes you some time to work through them. Now, that said, you have to be able to throw those pitches to navigate a major league lineup. Mm-hmm. You know, you cannot live and feast on fastballs alone, even though the Brewers tend to do it more than anybody else. But yeah, you know, that's something that's kind of bit him the last couple times out, is not having, you know, a breaking ball to keep them guessing and to catch them off guard.
What about the concern for maybe the bullpen in this series after a game like yesterday? You know, Uribe, I'm not too worried about. They had to get him some work. They maybe called game before they really should have yesterday. But, you know, McGill goes 4 outs and looked awesome yesterday. Koenig kind of struggles. DL Hall struggles for the first time. What about the concern? How concerned are you maybe for the bullpen in this series after a game like yesterday?
They're in pretty good shape. You know, the off day with the rain last week helped, and you got some pretty good performances leading into yesterday. They're in good shape, and I believe there's an off day coming up pretty soon. Is Thursday an off day?
Thursday is an off day, yes.
Yeah, Thursday is an off day. So you've got a little bit there. You know, you probably would like to stay away from McGill if it's all possible today. Mm-hmm. Of course, that depends on what everyone else does. But I think the bullpen's in good shape going into this series.
Last question for you, Drew. I know you were at the stadium earlier today. Was there already rumblings talking about Wednesday? And I feel like we're going to hype this up tomorrow as well, too, and then really get into it on Wednesday. But Mizorowski versus Skeens, I mean, the Brewers got put on a national stage because of how Jacob Mizorowski performed in his first 2 outings now. And, of course, Paul Skeens, already a Cy Young candidate each year he's been in the league the last 2 years. Is there already rumblings, like, from Pirates reporters and, you know, talking with the people you don't get to see on the road about Wednesday's game, Mizorowski versus Skeens?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a buzz. I mean, you saw it. We heard about it in pregame today. Pat Murphy talked about what the atmosphere might be like and how exciting it is to watch those guys. Brandon Woodruff, we talked to him pregame today to get a status report, and he talked at length about how exciting it is to see what Mizorowski's doing and the showdown between 2 of the best young pitchers in the game. And from what I saw across the dugout, or across the field in the visitors' dugout, during the Pirates pregame scrum, it looked like a larger than usual contingent. So yeah, I think there's going to be some pretty big buzz leading into this game. I mean, these are literally 2 of the best young phenoms in the game. One is a little bit more well known and has a bit of an established track record. One does not, but has been incredibly impressive so far. I think it's going to be good buzz.
Well, I'm excited for that. We have another game. We have another 2 games to watch, another show to do tomorrow before we get to that. Drew, thank you so much for jumping on today. We'll talk again tomorrow, my friend.
Yes, Sounds good. Have a good night.
You too. There he is, Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports. Follow him on Twitter at @byAndrewWagner. Joins the leadoff show. We are so behind on time, but we have one more segment to get to.
How does the Crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
I don't put these overtime minutes on my pay period. I do it for the people, just so you guys are aware. Keys to the game is how we always wrap up every leadoff show. And I would like to see Chad Patrick just get right. I was hinting at it when we were talking about him earlier in the show. I hinted at it with Drew Wagner. Today's key to the game is all about Chad Patrick, and that is because 9 earned runs over the last 2 outings. He faced some really tough opponents, but now this is a game where you're either getting back to normal or now you're getting concerned for Chad Patrick. The Pittsburgh Pirates, lowest OPS as a team in the National League, one of the worst offenses right now across Major League Baseball. Chad Patrick, we're looking at you for today's key to the game. Let's go. Let's get another quality start. He's got 5 of them this year. Quality start out of Chad Patrick. That's key to the game today. That's going to do it for us here on the leadoff show. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you might be listening or watching now. You can watch The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. That is youtube.com/@TheFanMilwaukee. If you want to watch all your favorite shows you listen to already each and every day, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock, for another 90-minute leadoff show. Myself will be on that. Of course, Drew Wagner, and we will also hear from Austin Herdina as we do each and every day. It is the leadoff show live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. JR Sports Brief show is up next. Oh, don't forget, send them home.